Hello everyone, my name is Nilsor and welcome to my vault. Today on Fallout New Vegas 101 we are going to end the Old World Blues DLC. This is the last quest of the DLC, which will lead you to face both Mobius and the think tank. It is automatically given once you have gathered all the technologies the think tank requested. Go talk to Dr. Klein to tell him that you've collected everything. After his surprise, he will say that it is time for you to go get back your brain and put down the evil that is Mobius. Passing several high skill checks will allow you to apprehend the fact that Klein seems to actually have no idea what these technologies are actually for, and that he was actually all-knowing from the start. Nevertheless, he is able to make up a key out of these technologies to open the Forbidden Zone dome. Go there. Note that, if you haven't completed the think tank's personal quests, or the ones related to the AIs, it will impact the ending of the DLC, so it is recommended to do them before confronting Mobius. Just going inside the Forbidden Zone is fine. Once you've entered, Mobius will activate his X-42 giant roboscorpion, which has more than 1000 hit points and is using a laser ray to blast radioactive explosions. You will have to defeat or deactivate it. To do so, you have several techniques to use. Use this terminal on the right after entering to release protectrons, which will attack the giant roboscorpion. Use this terminal further on the right to activate the X-42 backup generator, leading to an overload, damaging it. On the left of the entrance, use this average lock terminal to activate turrets. And further on the left side of the area is a very hard lock terminal to power down the robot. If you can't or don't want to hack it, load this password here to access the terminal. If you have the Robotic Expert perk, you can also sneak behind the X-42 to deactivate it temporarily, giving you some time to shoot at it. Once the robot is dealt with, it is time to go face Mobius. He won't be hostile from the start, so you will have the choice between reasoning or fight him. If you want to do the latter, tell him so and you will have to kill him along some roboscorpions he summons. If you want to reason with him, no skills checks are needed. Only talk to him and never threaten him. You will understand that his evilness is not what it seems at all, and he was only putting on a show to keep the think tank within Big Mountain to protect the world outside from them. After that you will have to go talk to your own brain, which is in a tank nearby. Not too happy of being in someone who travels the wasteland and is constantly getting harmed, poisoned and ingesting radiations, you will have to convince your brain to reunite with you, or at least help you. To do so, talk to it. In the end, you will be able to either have it reintegrated within your body, or have its help by having it flushing itself to the central dome. Both options will cancel the pacification field within the facility. While you talk to it, you can pass several high skill checks to speed up the process. Once it is reacquired, and if you haven't killed him, you can go talk to Dr. Mobius again to gain a little more insight on the think tank and some tips on how to deal with them. Now it is time for the final act. Go back to the think tank dome. You can, if you so desire, swap your synthetic heart and spine with your original versions, giving you other perks. You can do that later if you want. Once you are ready, go inside the dome. There you will face the think tank and can either reason or fight them. If you do the latter, you will have to kill them all 5. If you want to reason with them, you will have to pass a speed check at 75, and then a medicine check at 85 or science check at 100. If you've previously completed 3 of their personal quests, you can tell Klein to confer first with his colleagues about what they should do. They will support the courier, avoiding you to have to pass the skills checks. Once this is done, exit the dome to finish the DLC. You will then be able to travel between the Mojave and Big Empty using the Big Mountain Transportal Ponder. The endings will be about the think tank, Mobius, the AIs, different places in Big Mountain, and the courier's brain. Your karma will impact how the courier will use Big Mountain. If it is good or neutral, the courier will use Big Mountain and its technologies to give hope for humanity and make the world a better place, using the old world blues to further a new world hope. If it is bad, the courier will use Big Empty as a way to further his or her own power, making the old world blues motto the new world misery. Regarding Mobius, if he is alive, he later on tried to enhance his roboscorpions but failed, although it wasn't too hard on him since when his mentats wore off made him forget his past failures. In any case, he was taking pride in the success of the courier. If he died, Big Empty became even emptier without his threats or roboscorpions. The only things remaining of him were equations inscribed on the floor and walls of the Forbidden Zone Dome. That they were brilliant hidden thoughts or just rubbish is up to interpretation. Regarding the Things AIs, the Central Intelligence Unit is glad to have the other AIs around, giving it a sense of belonging to a community, even though they argue almost all the time. If not all of them have been activated, it would still be glad that there aren't as many as possible. If it is the only AI active, the Think will seem lifeless and sterile. The Biological Research Station will obsess over finding new seeds. If you didn't discover the X42 Biological Garden, it will die when trying to seed itself. Otherwise, it will require a transfer there, but the garden unit will refuse the transfer as it had a previous commitment to a certain vault. The Buckshot will continue on devouring reading materials, becoming more paranoid after it almost choked on a, supposedly, Chinese paperclip. The light switches will continue on bickering at each other until a flashlight arrived in the Think. They then form an alliance against the one they called the Showboat. Eventually, if you discovered the Z38 Lightwave Dynamics Research Center, one of them will be transferred there and start an affair with one of the holograms. Speaking of love affair, it was rumors that the jukebox had a thing going on with both of them until he forgot their names and was left in the dark as revenge. If you install less than 3 new sound effects, the jukebox will feel the blues even more. But if you installed them all, it will create a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Empty from a sonic invasion in 2910. The Think will continue on cleaning things to the point of nearly flooding Big Empty when it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics complex. If you discover the Z43 innovative toxic plans, the Think will try to develop antitoxins to flush into the drains and counteract the poisons bleeding into the soil. The toaster will continue on reducing appliances into scrap and parts. Depending on your karma, if it is good or neutral, the other AIs will eventually get fed up with it and throw it in a bathtub. If your karma is bad, the toaster will develop new techniques to destroy things and build a bloodshine to itself in the cuckoo's nests. Maggie will continue on scrubbing any coffee cup it found. If you didn't discover Higgs Village, it will explode after its wheel went flat while reaching for a cup. If you discovered it, Maggie will lock itself in it by accident, but found peace in cleaning and scrubbing the think tank X houses. All but Dr. O's, left unintended as revenge. The Autolock was grateful to be useful once more. If you discover the Y-17 medical facility, it will even find a way to release the dead corpses from the Y-17 trauma harnesses, freeing them after being trapped for 200 years. Regarding the X8 Research Center, depending on if you've completed all the facility's tests or not, the center will send out cyberdogs to either hunt down communists or to help out communities protect themselves. Regarding the X13 Research Facility, if you didn't complete all the stealth suit tests, the center will be furious to not be able to find the suit within its perimeter. It will expand its network of laser tripwires, sensors, and robo-brains to find it back, slicing everything in its way. If you did all the tasks, the facility will feel complete, but sad that the suit didn't say goodbye. It will look out for another technological facility until it's settled in Webcon headquarters, testing and murdering feeds who kept breaking into the building. The cyberdog that you might have created in the X8 Research Center is actually called Roxy. If you created it, she will eventually went out in search of a mate, which will lead her to the Mojave where she can come across Rex. If he is still alive, they will have a litter of cyberpups. If he died, she will drag his body to the X8 and reconstruct him. They will also end up having a litter of cyberpups. Regarding the courier's brain, if it is back inside your body, this new, better and more understanding relationship only improves the courier's abilities. If you left it at Big Empty, it will be sad when hearing about the eventual death of its former body. If you also had bad karma, it will eventually lose it, believing to be the only thing existing. It will turn the weapons of Big Empty against each other, just to see what happens. No one actually found out what happened to Big Empty, or a big chunk of the Mojave after that. But if you had a good or neutral karma, it will never incorporate itself into a floating device like the think tank. Instead, it lets its natural death come, deciding that all things must come to an end eventually. And finally about the think tank, if you let them live, they kept on experimenting for science and the courier, blissfully unaware of the world outside. If you killed them, they broadcasted their last battle, which they recorded, making their screams a warning to anyone coming to Big Empty. After all, the facility and all its technologies now belong to the courier. On the next video, we are going to do an analysis of all World Blues themes. Thank you for watching, and see you later.